Good afternoon, North Texas. I'm Hannah Gonzalez.
And I'm Jalen Jackson. Thank you for joining us on ntTV News at Noon.
The White House has launched a new website to provide more information on COVID-19. The site, covid.gov, provides data on vaccines, tests, treatments, and masks. The site is available in English, Spanish, and simplified Chinese. President Biden is also looking to Congress to provide more funding to help the country stay ahead of the virus. However, Congress has not provided additional funding so far. If anyone has questions about the COVID-19 virus, the website will help share the administration's pandemic strategy and updates in an easy, accessible way.
Week after week, COVID-19 cases in children have drastically declined in the U.S. Yesterday, almost 29,000 kids tested positive for the virus. This is a 9% decrease from last week's statistics. Johns Hopkins University states that the U.S. is averaging more than 20,000 new cases for COVID-19 per day.
Jalen, I kept getting woken up last night because of those storms.
You know, I didn't even know it was a storm until today.
You're so lucky, Jalen. Well, Ryan, can you let us know if we should expect any other later showers throughout the day?
Well, guys, following from last night's storm, and we're going to get a cold front, which lowered the temps, not by much, but we're experiencing some mild temperatures here in Denton. So currently, we're right at 60 degrees, and with a feeling temperature of 56 degrees, along with those winds at 25 miles per hour. Now on to tonight, we'll see those skies clear, and temps will dip to 50 degrees, and winds will calm down, finally, to a northwest at 2 miles per hour. Now on to tomorrow, those sunny skies will still remain, and temps will go back up to around 63 degrees with a feeling temperature of 61 degrees, and winds will pick up to the northwest at 13 miles per hour. Now that's all I have for my first look weather. Stick with us as I talk about where this storm system is right now and what I got for next week. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Ryan. It has been a little over a month since Russia invaded Ukraine. That domino effect is gas and grocery prices. The prices for these commodities are predicted to keep on climbing. CNN's Amy Kiley has the details.
New federal forecasts show food prices will likely keep climbing. The average cost of gas will stay high or may even rise. The USDA now predicts grocery prices will increase up to 4% throughout this year, and the average cost of dining out could set a new record. That's partly because Ukraine and Russia usually export a lot of the world's wheat and corn.
It will have global context impact beyond anything we've seen since World War II.
And China's new COVID-19 lockdowns are making it hard for supply chains to recover from the pandemic. Oil prices dipped a bit this week. That's after Russia said it would ease up its assault on parts of Ukraine. But
I think we should be clear-eyed about the reality of what's happening on the ground, and no one should be fooled by Russia's announcements.
It's called rockets and feathers, meaning when the price goes up of the price per barrel, that means your gas station price goes up like a rocket. When the price comes down per barrel, the gas station price comes down like a feather.
Prices from the last month demonstrate what she's saying. Here they are for oil and gas. And here's a forecast into next year. U.S. oil producers aren't increasing drilling much to help. CEOs say investor pressure is restraining growth, according to a Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas survey.
Because of gas, we are, as of right now, no, we are definitely not taking our family vacation this year. It'll be more or less a trip to the lake.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
While prices continue to soar, many Americans are struggling to keep up with living expenses. Some are looking at fixer-upper homes, only to find it being just as expensive. CNN's Vanessa Yurkovich has more.
This was nothing as I expected, purchasing my first home.
Allison Braun bought her first home in February. After losing bidding wars and paying $75,000 over budget, she settled on a fixer-upper, expecting to save some money.
It was really surprising getting in here and fixing things up. Overwhelming is another way I'd explain it.
Rents are up a record 17% in the last year, with homes up nearly 20%, and so are construction costs. Braun, who works for the real estate company Redfin, is redoing nearly every space in her home. The kitchen needed new counters.
And we were really surprised by the cost, especially the labor to put them in. We wanted to figure out a way of how we can do our countertops on our own and save cost and labor. So the concrete countertops were born.
She saved $3,300 by doing them with her partner. She tried the same with her floors, but underestimated how much she would need and the rapidly rising costs of lumber.
We didn't estimate enough wood for the first floor, and we went back to buy more wood for the flooring, and it ended up that after a month's time, the flooring went up about 25 cents per square foot.
But it's not just homeowners getting stuck with higher costs. Construction materials are up 24% in the last year. Bill McGrath's company is installing elevators in this new residential housing complex in New Jersey. So far, they've put in 2.
What are the materials in this elevator that you have seen an increase on?
Well, right here you have the electronics, which this is stainless steel. You have the plastics, the electronic boards behind it, that's costing more. The ceilings, wood, you're standing on lumber, there's steel underneath.
And is all of it going up?
Yeah.
Supply chain slowdowns and demand have pushed construction costs up, forcing projects to come in over budget and over deadline.
How much more is this elevator going to cost than the one we just saw?
We're at, this one here is going to cost 17% more material cost than the other 2 that we completed.
And he says his 18-person company is spending more on gas to bring materials in, up 24% in the last month. All of these rising costs will get passed down.
Where's the end?
I guess the people that will be living here.
For Braun, the higher costs means accepting things like painting the outside of the house gets put on hold.
So we'd love to hire somebody to do that. That's been put on the back burner now, and we're just going to have to learn to love the green.
Economic analysts say inflation in the United States has hit a 40-year peak.
And stay tuned to hear about new lawsuits aimed at preventing federal mask mandates on planes.
And men who took a popular brand of diabetes medicine are more likely to have children with birth defects. Stay with us.
It's you.
It is me.
Near Sanctus Spiritus.
I've got a good feeling about this one.
Hey, Maddie, miss me?
Wait, Bud?
What was that all about?
An old friend.
An old friend?
Good to see you, brother.
What the hell are you doing?
That's your lucky day.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get started. This is a motor vehicle. This is the blinker mechanism. To use it, push it up for the right blinker and down to go left. You're welcome. It was easy.
A new lawsuit is calling for the federal court to permanently end the transportation mask mandate that requires masks on planes. Florida is leading the suit alongside 20 other states and a number of pilots and flight attendants. The mask mandate is currently slated to end April 18th, though it could be extended again. Major airline CEO and Southwest Airlines Flight Attendants Union have also urged the Biden administration to end the mandate.
$18 million. That is how much this video game giant is getting sued for. You might wonder who and why. CBS reporter Nicole Comstock has the details.
The video game giant behind Call of Duty Black Ops is now set to pay a giant settlement in a sexual harassment and retaliation lawsuit. A judge just ordered Santa Monica-based company Activision Blizzard to pay those alleged victims $18 million.
I've had men in these leadership roles put their hands on my lap, come up behind me and tightly hug me from behind.
Today, 2 Activision accusers shared their stories with their attorney Lisa Bloom by their side.
The same person that told me I was being too sensitive was the same person who would put their hands on me repeatedly without my consent.
Bloom has now filed a separate lawsuit against the company, saying the payout doesn't do justice for what these women endured.
The number is woefully inadequate. So we've seen other cases of massive sexual harassment where the compensation fund is typically in the hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's what should be the case here.
She's also demanding that Activision stop forcing victims into arbitration, denying them their day in court. In a written statement, an Activision Blizzard spokesperson said in part, "We appreciate the courage of any current or former employee in coming forward, and will continue to investigate claims brought to our attention. There was no place in our company or industry for sexual misconduct, harassment, discrimination, or retaliation of any kind."
My abuser would often brag that going to HR would be pointless, that my word meant nothing.
Activision Blizzard is also facing a lawsuit over equal pay violations from California's Department of Fair Employment and Housing.
Speaking of blizzards, aren't you glad it's not cold anymore?
Jalen, I hate the cold, so I'm so glad we're having these summer temps.
You know, our weather anchor, Ryan Cantrell, can tell us how long we will have these summer temps. Ryan?
Well, y'all, the temps are rising in Texas, and that also means it is storm season, but I will get into that in a little bit. But speaking of those warm temps, around North Texas, we're looking at all mild temperatures, mainly in the mid-60s. So let's see, we got Paris at 68, Silver Springs right there at 69, McKinney at 68, Dallas right there at 69, Fort Worth at 63 right here, Decatur at 58, and finally Graham out there at 58. Now on to the whole state of Texas, we're going to see a little bit greater distribution in temperatures, and the folks down south are mainly facing those warmer temperatures. We got Houston at 79, Shreveport right at 69, Denton at 60, Oklahoma at a chilly 49 degrees, and El Paso out there at 63. Now, our radar is unfortunately down, but I'm just going to talk about where the storm that came through last night is right now, and it is currently right here near Shreveport. It's about a big old 200-mile squall line about right here, and it is producing tornadoes. The National Weather Service does have 5 tornado warnings already put out for the area, and they do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings south of Shreveport. If you want to see a radar for yourself, please go to weather.gov, and that way you can stay up to date on all the information. Now let's forget about those storms and talk about our 7-day forecast. So currently we have partly cloudy skies from today until Friday with mild temps. Wednesday will be a high of 63, going up to Friday's high of 78. Saturday and Sunday are going to be completely clear. However, on Monday, we're going to get some storms with a 60% chance of precipitation and some milder temps, and will be partly cloudy on Tuesday. That's all I have for my full weather forecast. Back to the desk.
There has been a rise in Asian hate crimes in a number of major cities across the country. Some high-profile incidents have Asian Americans living in fear. CNN's Amara Walker reports.
3 young Asian American women living and working in New York City.
Don't even think about it.
3 friends who are unwittingly bonded by their encounters with hate.
Because when you're being attacked like that, it feels so lonely. And it feels like if people don't do anything, that they're agreeing with it.
32-year-old Amanda She says she's been verbally harassed several times by complete strangers since the start of the pandemic. Each time, she's relived the trauma of when she was followed by a man yelling racial obscenities at her.
He kept following me for a whole block, and then this man, he came up next to me and he was like, "Do not worry, I'm right here with you. I'm gonna walk you straight there." And I couldn't thank him in the moment, but oh my God, I'm so grateful he was there. I was just thinking about so many times that's happened to me this past year.
There's empathy amongst these women because they know what it's like to feel dehumanized, to be targeted as.
Amanda She says she felt safer in the winter because she concealed her identity with things like masks and hats.
Men who use a popular diabetes drug are 40% more likely to conceive a child with birth defects. According to an official study published on Monday, men who used metformin in the 3 months prior to conceiving the child had a considerably high risk of there being birth defects in their children. The research looked at over 1 million births between 1997 and 2016. They observed children who were born to women under 35 and men under 40. When we return, find out how staff at a Florida zoo were able to rescue a bald eagle.
And find out which controversial NFL rule is on the way out. Stick around to find out.
Listen to my flow to save some H2O. This my water rhyme, and this is how it goes. First, turn off the sink and take some time to think. When you waste water, our supply shrinks. When you take a shower, not more than an hour. Shoot for 10 minutes and save water power. Use a reusable bottle, smart like Aristotle. Ditch all the plastic and be a role model. And that was my H2O flow. Please remember how it goes, because if you don't, Earth will go, oh no!
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
A famous bald eagle known from live streams was caught between a rock and a hard place earlier this month. CNN's Sanela Savovich has the details.
These bald eagles have become internet stars.
It's been such a great story.
Thanks to a live stream camera, we've watched Ron and Rita build their nest in October and successfully lay 2 eggs, the eaglets named R1 and R2. Getting up to this point has been harsh. A storm knocked out their nest last year, killing one of their eaglets. The misfortunes prompting some help from Zoo Miami's Ron McGill and Lloyd Brown from Wildlife Rescue of Dade County, who have been following their every move. On Saturday, McGill noticed something was wrong. A fishing line was attached to R2's foot, preventing her from flying.
That fishing line could not only cut off the circulation and tear her foot off, but it could eventually kill her. We had to make an extreme decision to go up to try to free her. And that's something you only do as a last-ditch effort to save her life.
R2 managed to fly, but forcefully. Problem is, she still had the line attached to her foot. So rescuers went out to grab her again, brought her in to remove the line, and kept her for observation. Crews went out for a second time with their bucket to place her back in her nest, where she has been ever since. Now the concern is, after such a traumatic weekend, when will she fly on her own?
We're very hopeful that she's now going to make a full recovery.
Another hope of McGill's is that an important lesson is learned from this ordeal.
Fishermen especially need to be aware of what they do with their excess line. Don't toss line. Make sure you contain it and dispose of it properly, because fishing line is incredibly dangerous to native wildlife.
Bald eagles face risks out in the wild, and it is shown that those who live in captivity often live longer because they have access to veterinary care.
The famous singer, composer, and musician Elton John has announced a few more stops on his final trip to Emerald City. The singer has announced 11 new North American performances on his Goodbye Yellow Brick Road farewell tour. The 75-year-old Grammy winner will wrap up the U.S. leg of his at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, marking his 2000 concert in the States. The final tour has been planned since 2018, but was delayed several times due to COVID and injuries.
Skip to these concerts. Read from the script, please.
Being represented when choosing your next candidate is very important.
I agree, Jalen, and we want our voices to be heard while we're here on campus as students. So I think Courtney Hill is out covering our student body election. Let's see what she has for us.
Chamber's office, and the government elections have arrived. You have a chance.
Thanks, Courtney. The NFL recently announced a new rule that will greatly reduce the importance of the dreaded overtime coin flip. Under this new rule, when a playoff game goes into overtime, both teams will have an opportunity to score. Previously, the game would end after one team scores, meaning whoever won the coin toss had an unfair advantage. The new rule comes following a controversial playoff game between the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills, where the Bills never got an opportunity to score after losing the OT coin toss.
That's a pretty big change, Jalen.
Well, it definitely should help shake up the playoffs in the future.
Jalen, I know you're a sports guy, so what's going on in the sports world?
Stay tuned. I'll give you an update on the Dallas Mavericks and your UNT softball team after the break.
What just happened? Go.
It's that time of year where everyone plays a dangerous game with the flu. Going in uneducated, you run the risk of symptoms like cough, migraine, and fatigue. Don't be like this guy. Combat the flu with cough drops, ibuprofen, and a good night's sleep. Be smart, don't catch the flu.
Sorry, man. Oh, sorry.
The definition of a maverick is a person who takes an independent stand apart from his or her associates, and the Dallas Mavericks are doing exactly that. Things are looking up for the Mavs after they steamrolled the Lakers in a 128-110 win last night, putting up 82 points in the first half alone. The Lakers, without both LeBron and AD, relied on the scoring of Malik Monk and Russell Westbrook. But it wasn't enough to stop Luka Doncic, who dropped a triple-double with 34 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 assists. Tonight, they'll take on the Cavaliers in Cleveland to kick off their 3-game road stint. The Mavericks are now just one game back from the Warriors and the 3rd seed with 6 games left in the season. We'll have to wait and see if they can finish strong. Moving on, your UNT softball team is preparing for a 3-game series against the UTEP Miners. Beginning this Friday, the team is 18-7 overall in the season. Last week, UNT's team won 2 of their 3 games in a series against the Charlotte 49ers, falling short in their final game, losing 6-1. The team is hoping to bounce back against a UTEP team that has only won 1 out of their last 9 games. Be sure to show out for your Mean Green Eagles this Friday, April 1st at Lovelake Stadium. Back to you, Hannah.
All right, thank you, Jalen. Now let's go ahead and head over to Courtney Hill, who is covering our student body election. Courtney, what can you tell us?
Thanks, Hannah. I'm here at the UNT Senate Chambers office, and the student government elections have arrived. You have the chance to meet the candidates tomorrow at 5 p.m. and food will be provided. The location is still being determined, but will be posted on the Student Affairs website where you can also cast your vote. The voting ends tomorrow, the 31st, so make sure you cast your vote, and back to you in the studio.
Trusting someone to cut your hair and make you feel confident after is everything. And Iowa College is taking the extra step to ensure their students of color are being put in the right hands. In Minnesota, Sarah Gannon reports.
Very many different haircut spots available in town.
Decorah is a smaller community, and to find a barber experienced in cutting black hair,
Having a haircut always feels nice when you're competing, just to, I guess, look good, play good.
some students have to drive the hour and a half to Rochester.
I just love to see the smiles and, the things that I do. Like I say, it's, I had a lot of experiences, and I just want to give back in any way I can.
Luther College saw the need for students of color to have a proper haircut and have been working with Gil Jordan, a barber based in Rochester and Winona.
It's nice to get to talk to Uncle Gil. When they send us the appointments, we all we all try to get there as quick as possible. Everybody, we all text each other and let each other know what days he's coming.
Jordan makes the drive to Decorah every other Monday to provide these students free expert haircuts and a sense of community.
I just think it's needed. I think in communities as well, where people can get together and kind of be able to relate and stuff like that. It builds communities and builds people also.
Jordan says his chair also provides students with someone outside of school to talk about family, school, everything else in between.
So that's been my thing, to kind of give back. I haven't had the best life growing up and stuff like that, so I kind of know how it's needed, and especially I have a male figure to talk to.
Jordan plans to visit the University of Wisconsin Stout and hopes to expand his work in the future.
Wow, Hannah. I really wish someone would travel to me and cut my hair for free.
Maybe he'll visit UNT soon, who knows? Well, thanks for watching ntTV Nightly News.
Join us again tomorrow for the latest coverage here on North Texas Television.